in shootings.
Personal danger. That's why we have to take them seriously.
As well as the ability to inject themselves into racial conflict in such a way as to create all kinds of disorder,
and
even though they themselves don't have a large number.
All right, Mr. Sewell, thank you very much for being here. And we'll be back right after this. And here's what's coming up on the next Inside Edition.
What are the odds of surviving a tragic plane crash? Experts say the majority of deaths do not occur on impact. What should you do to stay safe in a disaster? Also, he is a Midwestern teenager who's outsmarting some of the nation's smartest adults. At 16, he's the youngest player ever to advance to the Jeopardy Championships. Find out how this young man is beating the best on Inside Edition.
That's it for us today. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Bill O'Reilly. We'll see you again tomorrow.
While on location, production staff may stay at Best Western, the world's largest lodging chain with over 3,300 places to stay worldwide. Best Western.
Flying is still the safest part of your journey. But in the event that the unlikely does occur, be prepared. Stay awake and sober during takeoff and landing. And that will greatly increase your chances of getting out alive.
I kept thinking, I was in a plane crash and I survived. I can't believe I'm walking through this cornfield. Gosh, I can't believe it. I'm alive.
Two more survival tips. Experts say you can dress for survival. Don't wear polyester because it melts onto your body during a fire. And ladies should not wear high heels on planes simply because you can't run in high heels. Up next, we'll have some brighter news for you. The 16-year-old who broke the bank on Jeopardy. Eric.
Where's Cambridge?
Correct. Eric.
What is Cops?
Cops is right. Eric.
Where are the men's shoes?
Right.
I had to prove to myself the other day I could compete in this league, so I suppose I did that.
I have always had this fantasy about going on the quiz show Jeopardy and really cleaning up. I mean, I dazzle old Alex Trebek and rack up thousands of dollars. Well, that fantasy came true for one young man, and he's only 16. How did he do it? Here's Steve McPartland.
The Jeopardy $100,000 Tournament of Champions. A student and winner of last year's team tournament, Eric Newhouse.
Eric.
Where's Cambridge?
Correct. Eric.
What is Cops?
Cops is right. Eric.
Where are the men's shoes?
Right.
Eric Newhouse is an amazing young man, not only because of his vast amount of knowledge, but because of his age. He is only 16 years old. Last week, Eric made history when he became the youngest player to ever advance to Jeopardy's Tournament of Champions.
What is the season?
That is right.
He got there by winning the team tournament. He was also the youngest champ ever in that competition.
$28,100 and the championship. Congratulations, Eric.
When you won that much money, what did you think?
Well, I thought so much for having to worry about immediate financial problems. And then I thought, hey. And then I realized, of course, later on I could have had more, but, you know, that always comes to you, so why bother?
Eric did have his chance to go for more money in the Tournament of Champions. The competition this time, though, would be against adults. And surprisingly, or not surprisingly, if you know Eric, he did quite well, taking his first round match in a breeze.
And Eric Newhouse, you are a semifinalist. Congratulations. Way to go. Why do I get the feeling that that young man has something to prove?
Eric became the favorite among the contestants. As his mother watched from the studio audience, he entered the second round. And going into Final Jeopardy, Eric was in the lead.
Hired as a ship's cook, he led the mutiny aboard the Hispaniola.
After the other two players got the answer wrong, it looked as if Eric would be a shoo-in.
What was your wager? 3601. That's not good enough. You're gonna...
The audience was surprised. Other contestants consoled him.
I had
thoughts that Eric was going to win his semifinal game. As you saw during the match, he played extremely well. And at the very end, and this happens so often on our program, one clue did him in.
Eric accepted the defeat with the maturity of a man triple his age.
I didn't expect myself to be here right now as I was, but the way I saw it, I had to prove to myself the other day I could compete in this league, so I suppose I did that.
In many different ways, it is a long way from the Jeopardy studios in Hollywood to East High School in Sioux City, Iowa, where Eric is a student. Here, things are a bit more normal, but that is certainly not to say that Eric Newhouse is just a normal high school student. Just ask him how his life has changed since his appearance on Jeopardy.
Well, it's pretty much ruined my idea, my attempt to be a professional recluse. I do try, but it's become almost impossible.
Why do you want to be a professional recluse?
It's just something I enjoy. It's my personality type.
As you might expect, there is a certain normal side of Eric. When he won all the money in the team tournament, he did what just about every teenager would have done.
I needed transportation, so I got myself a car, but of course, I was hoping I'd win a decent amount on the Tournament Champions so I could pick up a better car, or at least a better car stereo, because I'm the owner of the world's worst car stereo. Thank you very much.
As far as just how he got so smart, he'll tell you he doesn't know. He just reads a lot. But one of Eric's after-school activities no doubt helped. 3 times a week, he and others compete in quiz ball. It's a form of GE college ball, or maybe Jeopardy.
What was the first talking motion picture with the sound on film?
Jazz singer.
The Jazz Singer.
Eric is Eric. He wouldn't even tell the rest of his quiz bowl mates how he did in the Tournament of Champions, waiting instead to see what their reaction would be when he lost. Oh! Having all this success and fame might change some 16-year-olds, but as I've said before, Eric is not your average 16-year-old.
There's times when I thought about, did I really want to do all this? And there's times I thought, no, it was a bad idea. And there's times I thought, sure, why not? So I suppose the jury's still out.
All right, there's the question. Do you know the answer? Eric missed this one. The answer is Long John Silver, of course. Not the guy who made the fish stands, the guy in Treasure Island. Just ahead, an update on a story that hundreds of you wrote to us about. One of the most emotional stories we've ever done here on Inside Edition involved 2 twin girls fighting for their lives, victims of a rare disease. When we first brought you this report last September, hundreds of you wrote notes of support to the teenagers. Well, there have been some new developments since then. Here's Scott Rappaport with an update.
Dawn and Kristen Winfield, bright and beautiful identical twins, always smiling, always positive they could beat the rare disease they'd been born with called leukodystrophy. Nobody knew they were afflicted until earlier this year, but by summer it was attacking their nerve and brain cells. Their only chance for survival was a bone marrow transplant, still experimental and very expensive, $250,000 for each girl. Their schoolmates began trying to raise money, and then it seemed everyone wanted to help. Radio and television stations raised pledges. The twins were guests of honor at dozens of fundraisers, from petting zoos to dances, always smiling at their sudden celebrity.
We were in the mall the other day, and some guy's like, "You're the twins," and he handed, Yolanda was there, he handed her a $20 bill. And we're like embarrassed. Everybody, "Are you the twins?" And we're like, "Yes."
By late summer, enough money was raised to send the twins to Minneapolis for life-saving treatment. Kristen was first, undergoing the procedure 2 months ago. But doctors say her body began rejecting the transplanted marrow, and weakened, Kristen could not carry on the fight. She died about 3 o'clock Sunday morning.
Kristen was a fighter, and she never, ever gave up. Her mental attitude and her fortitude, and Dr. Cribbett will tell you, it was just phenomenal. I couldn't have kept the fight up that she kept.
Somehow, in the way that only twins can know, Dawn awoke at 3 o'clock that morning and told a friend, "I think my sister's dead." And at that moment, in another room, Kristen's life was passing. Now Dawn says she will fight on in memory of her twin sister, memory shared by the entire family.
Just a beautiful face.
Normal things. Brother and sister.
A lot of love. Never be forgotten.
As you might well imagine, Dawn needs all the support she can get, and if you would like to write to her, the address is Dawn Winfield, Ronald McDonald House, 608 Ontario Street, Southeast Minneapolis, Minnesota, 55414. And we'll be right back. If you have ever felt depression, we have some information for you. There are some incredible new advances in fighting depression, a disease that hurts millions of Americans. Here's Joel Lloyd.
Nestled in the high mountains of Utah, it's no accident Salt Lake City is a major center for research into the causes of depression. The Mormons here prize having a lot of kids, and they keep careful family histories. And what scientists here agree on is the reason, the cause of a lot of profound depression and mood disorder is in our genes, just like red hair or blue eyes. It's inherited. Your family tree hands down the disease. How do they know that? Dr. Paul Wender has conducted research studies worldwide.
In identical twins, if one twin has it, the other twin who has the same genes is much more likely to have it than if they're non-identical twins who are just closely related as brother and sister. Finally, we find that adopted people tend to have depression if their natural parents, whom they never met, and natural brother and sister, whom they never met, have depression.
So the goal for these researchers is obvious. First, find the defective genes. Then, find medications to do the job the genes aren't doing. Maybe even someday, splice in good genes to replace the bad ones. Dermatologist John Besant suffered from deep depression even while struggling to complete his medical training. It's amazing he made it through.
At times, it felt like somebody had stuck a spigot in me and drained out all of my energy. And other times, I remember talking to patients, and it felt like just a wave hit me. And I felt like I just wanted to yawn. It was like the Wizard of Oz scene where I wanted to go over in the poppy patch and just sit down and go to sleep.
Remarkably, he still graduated with honors, but the price was high. Even when another family member was successfully treated, he refused help. That reluctance may even be part of the disease.
With this feeling of bleakness, there's a tremendous pessimism that nothing will really help. And what's the point of seeking the help? I might as well just sort of clink along on two cylinders and hope for the best.
After years of trial and error and disastrous setbacks, Dr. Besant finally got the right treatment, and today is at the top of his form here at the University Hospital in Utah. By coincidence, 4 floors above the dermatology clinic in the research center, psychiatrist Bill Byerly is now devoting virtually all of his time directing research to find the location of the defective genes that plague his medical colleague and millions of other Americans. From carefully screened volunteers, they get genes from blood samples. Some of these samples are from biologically depressed people, some not. What they're doing here is comparing, looking for a pattern of defective genes.
There may be 16,000 to 50,000 brain genes, and at least a few of those probably play a role in determining depression and manic depression.
With the help of computers, they're searching through billions of bits of information, looking for clues to unravel the mystery.
So that's what we're doing here in Utah. We're trying to find other genes that cause manic depression.
Despite some recent setbacks, researchers say they're getting close. But the cold logic of science and the heat of human nature do not always travel well together. No matter how highly educated, we often resist scientific treatment if it involves the dread phrase, mental illness.
I was biased by a friend at NIH. She said that psychiatrists were basically the crazy helping the crazier. And so I was afraid of all of those things, and I was afraid of having the scarlet P on my chest, of being a psychiatric patient. And so ultimately, I didn't seek help out of medical sophistication and remembering what I've been taught in medical school, et cetera, et cetera. I went in for help because my wife gave me an ultimatum, either get help or we get divorced, basically.
So, there you have it. Scientific progress and the reluctant patient redeemed. And where does that leave the rest of us?
I had a hard time.
Experts say 2/3 of all Americans suffering from biological mood disorders are getting no effective treatment at all. And that, says the doctor, is really crazy.
If you have the disease and you get the right amount of medicine in the right dose, the odds are about 3 in 4 that you'll feel substantially better, be able to function better, and everybody around you will feel a lot happier. You can't knock it till you've tried it.
And if you want more information on depression, check with your local chapter of the National Depressive and Manic Depressive Association, or write NDMDA, Merchandise Mart, Box 3395, Chicago, Illinois 60654. And finally today, our Word on the Street segment. I'm getting some mail from people who think they knew me when I was a little kid. So by semi-popular demand, here's a look at me when I was a little kid. Roll the tape. There I am with my date, Annette Funicello. Actually, the little girl's name is Joanne Russo. And you can't get a good look at me, but the Mark Spitz thing, and here it is. And all right, that's enough of that. And tomorrow we'll have a little bit more of that. I don't know why. And that's it for us today. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Bill O'Reilly. Have a great Thanksgiving. We'll see you again tomorrow.
While on location, production staff may stay at Best Western, where you'll find more hotels, more hospitality, and more personality than anywhere. Over 3,300 Best Westerns worldwide.
It's had a very good level. It hasn't dropped beneath a certain standard. It's had some very good high moments too, and it has surpassed what we hoped it was.
And then the Rolling Stones take the stage.
See you on TV. Bye.
5 days after construction began, it'll all be over in 2 hours.
If you want to see more of that, the Stones will be on pay-per-view cable on December 19th, another huge payday. And we'll be right back. Baltimore, right after this. Tomorrow, Inside Edition will come to you from Colombia, South America, where the U.S. is losing the drug war.
They are merchants of death, the Colombian drug lords, and they have taken over their own country. Now, street by street and city by city, they are taking over the U.S. Our government has declared war on this brutal enemy, but can we stop the flow of drugs? In a special report, Inside Edition goes to Colombia, behind the drug war lines, to see why the most powerful nation on earth is losing the war on drugs.
A very special broadcast tomorrow. That's it for us today. Thank you for watching. I'm Bill O'Reilly. We'll see you again tomorrow.
While on location, production staff may stay at Best Western, the world's largest lodging chain with over 3,300 places to stay worldwide. Best Western.
It is obvious the drug cartel is a brutal and tenacious enemy, and America is fighting the cartel without using its military. Some believe that is a no-win situation.
The poverty of South America makes trafficking in drugs irresistible for many. In Colombia, average income is less than $2,000 a year. So from the peasants to the police to the military, drug merchants can buy or bribe all the manpower they need whenever they need it. Almost no one believes the poor countries of South America can stop the flow of cocaine. And the U.S. cannot stop it either. The military stands on the sidelines,
And the criminal justice system is lenient with drug users. Millions of Americans are not afraid to buy and sell drugs. Because of that, the marketplace is booming. It is capitalism at its worst. Clearly, our government must rethink strategy. As long as millions of Americans crave drugs and are not afraid to buy and sell them, this tremendous problem will exist, and the cocaine cartel here in Colombia will continue to count money and deal death. And here's what's coming up on the next Inside Edition. It is Mike Tyson's newest heavyweight fight, but his opponent is no contender. He is Bill Caton, Tyson's manager, and the brawl is over their present contract. Tyson says his contract makes him a slave, and now he wants his freedom. On Inside Edition, severe punches are being thrown in the business of boxing.
This is my life. I'm fighting for my own life. I don't want to fight to stay a slave and to stay under this kind of, abuse.
That's it for us today. Tomorrow, I'll be back home. I'm Bill O'Reilly in Columbia. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again tomorrow.
While on location, production staff may stay at Best Western, the world's largest lodging chain with over 3,300 places to stay worldwide. Best Western.
Baltimore has a proud history, of course. The Star-Spangled Banner was inspired by the British siege of Baltimore in 1814, and now the harbor is Baltimore's premier attraction. This working-class city of the 11th largest in the U.S. has a nice feel to it. Great seafood, great comeback baseball team, the Orioles, and great ambiance. It's a little chilly out here today, but there's some crab soup nearby ready to warm us up. And here's what's coming up on the next Inside Edition. 1963, Mississippi is engulfed in a fire over the brutal killing of civil rights activist Medgar Evers. This man was arrested for the murder, but despite strong evidence against him, he was never convicted.
His blood was on the gun, his fingerprints were on the weapon.
Now, Inside Edition uncovers new evidence that a state agency may have rigged the jury. Is Mississippi still burning? That's all for us today. Thank you for watching. I'm Bill O'Reilly in Baltimore. We'll see you again tomorrow.
While on location, production staff may stay at Best Western, the world's largest lodging chain with over 3,300 places to stay worldwide. Best Western.
In our Word on the Street segment today, word is Rob Lowe is getting the Sour Apple Award this year. That's the award for the celebrity who is least cooperative with the press and most taken with himself. This has not been a great year for Lowe, who is currently doing community service for a morals offense in Georgia. You may remember that incident, but if you do not, you are probably better off. And here's what's coming up on the next Inside Edition.
And I'm also working on a puzzle, the Craig Spence puzzle.
It is a puzzle with pieces of lust, greed, and power, all fitting together to form a picture of Craig Spence. He was a top socialite who entertained some of the famous faces of Washington, but rumors of espionage surround his life, and intrigue surrounds his death. On Inside Edition, a self-made man who may have self-destructed.
That's it for us today. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Bill O'Reilly. We'll see you again tomorrow.
While on location, production staff may stay at Best Western, the world's largest lodging chain with over 3,300 places to stay worldwide. Best Western.
Liked by the Bureau of Prisons. The Bureau of Prisons will go out of their way to mistreat you, so no one can claim that you're being given any type of special treatment whatsoever.
How about the other convicts?
The other problems one will have, too, with respect to if they have a lot of money in that. Some people may believe that they may benefit off of people with money, that is officers or other higher staff, and some may bend over backwards to treat the person well with the belief that they will make money.
But Leona will probably be in trouble.
However, the majority will probably treat her horribly and with great disrespect because they're in a power of authority now over a woman who has had so much power and so much money.
Okay, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
And we'll be back with more Inside Edition in just a moment. On the next Inside Edition, a report on chemical face peels. They can be very deadly. And that's it for us today. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Bill O'Reilly. We'll see you again tomorrow.
While on location, production staff may stay at Best Western, the world's largest lodging chain with over 3,300 places to stay worldwide. Best Western.